What's up, everybody? So, we just had another green day again. So, since since last week, we had a very long streak of green days. I think that proved the enthusiasm of the market to the upside, and equities just refused to go down, and cryptos also refused to go down, and still hanging around in high targets. Now, dollar bounced a bit. Dollar bounced a bit, and I guess, some players took profit because it, it had a very juicy profit and in the short side of the dollar. And I think that's a couple of some of the taking profit action. And let's see if it makes the market structure in the near term, maybe today or the next week. It will have a turning around point that would make a new market structure point. And if negate to the upside, that means they're trying to shift it. But only until it happens, the current trend continues. That's my perspective. That's how I view the market. And equities probably um, just had a small pullback on this Monday, the last Monday. It gapped down to open, and that was the pullback, maybe. And it still needs some kind of a pullback to continue to go higher. So I'm waiting for that moment, and I'm trying to reload at that point. Until then, I would sit on a current position, and I expect to go much higher from here. But especially for Nikkei, Nikkei 225 has massive upward trend, but it didn't reach the ATH yet. Compared to U.S. equities indices, and those reached the all-time high and renewed the ATHs, and that's a really good sign. And typically, Japanese market follow the U.S. market, and it's pretty highly correlated with the Nasdaq 100. So I hope it will make a new all-time high, and I don't know when it makes it, but maybe today or maybe next or by the end of the April. I don't know, but as long as the current market movement saying is it wants to go up, and I I guess there were a lot of shorts in the markets through these, you know, Iran conflict situation and the past couple of months of stagnant of economic indicators and uncertainty and the geopolitical issues. But so they have to they have to close it before getting harder hit in their portfolio or in their balance. Maybe some got margin calls, so they have to buy to close the short position. I think that what happens right now, and it happens for so aggressively these days. This kind of movement happens very often compared to the past history. when you look at the chart, before most of the player employ the algorithmic trading, it doesn't have such kind of a massive movement and so often. But recent years, market is kind of broken and it has a pretty intense move to the upside and the downside and intensely, and it happens suddenly and it's hard to catch the trade. And I think it makes the trading harder, but it makes some kind of profit so much higher, so much bigger, and that will induce and promote people to get into trading as a gambling mindset, and it's really hurting issue, and it's not a good issue, but it's the reality right now. And so I hope some of you not getting hurt by getting caught in those aggressive movement. And in order to protect your capital and in order to save your mental energy, you gotta flip your script. You gotta think inversely to the chart, meaning when the markets go up, you only gotta think about selling. When the markets go down, you gotta think about, sorry about the noise, you gotta think about buying. But I'm not saying go against the trend. It's only working along with the trend. So when you check the weekly or monthly chart and it's going up, you can check with the moving averages and or the market structure price actions, and you can tell which way the market has a trend. If it has upward trend in a long term in a weekly or monthly chart, then you gotta have a mindset of you gotta fix the bias to the upside. And so what you're gonna do is wait for daily or hourly 4-hour pullback to getting to the long side. So waiting for the pullback, and when it goes down, you're gonna only think about buying it. And inversely, if a market has downward trend for the long duration chart, like weekly, monthly, looking down, and it's going down, and you're gonna think you only have a trade to the downside. You can also do everything you want, but I'm just saying this to protect your mental capability and protect your capital. It's a relatively safe to think like that, and you're just gonna wait for a chance. That is this game. I think you gotta train your patience and wait for the chance, and try not to have instant profit. That's a gambling mindset. Gambling mindset will ruin your capital and it will ruin your mental. And you gotta be all right with you don't get any profit with the position for some amount of time, not intense, not instantly. You gotta be okay with that, and then you can you can wait it, and you can you can be patient, and you will have a profit from your trading. So that's my message today. Markets are really green, and I hope some of you are happy with it right now. And I love you guys. See you in the next episode. Peace.